Hello friends, Matt D'Antuono here with Donec Requiescat. Today I'm going to talk about my book, A Fool's Errand, and the subtitle is A Brief Informal Introduction to Philosophy for Young Catholics. Now, I wrote it for young Catholics primarily because there are so many ideas in the world today. We don't even realize how often we are bombarded with ideas. Oftentimes they're very subliminal. They're undercover of some other idea, or they're put in some advertisement where we're made to think that we really need something. So philosophy is the process of learning to think critically and learning to recognize and then to evaluate ideas that are presented to us in all the different forms that they come to us. And I wrote it specifically for young Catholics because that's the audience I deal with mostly. I'm a high school physics teacher by trade. And I talk about philosophy with my students a lot. And I notice that they still have questions. They still ask the big questions about the meaning of life and what is right and wrong. And I'm not saying that they don't sometimes think that they know everything, but for the most part, by the time people have gone to college and then come out of college, they think that they know everything, or they think that there is nothing to know. Unfortunately, there's a lot of cynicism when it comes to philosophy and to these deep questions about life. But in my investigation of philosophy, and primarily in the context of Catholic philosophy and the philosophy of St. Thomas Aquinas, I have found that there are satisfying, convincing answers to these questions about the nature of existence, about the meaning of life, about what it means to be a human being, about right and wrong, about the nature of God. And I don't want young Catholics to be pulled away because they haven't learned these deep, satisfying answers that are relatively simple, but difficult to get to and difficult to understand. And I was talking about this desire I have to help young Catholics understand this and understand the depth of the faith. And my wife suggested, well, why don't you write a book about it? And within 10 days, I had a rough draft written. I intentionally made it short because I know that long books can be intimidating to teenagers, or anybody for that matter. And I put into it a lot of the essentials of Catholic philosophy. Basic principles that I think will help young Catholics to pick out ideas and evaluate them from a solid standpoint. I also wrote it to be inspirational. I put in some stories about the beginning of philosophy, and I wrote about the wonder of philosophy. Unfortunately, in my undergraduate days, when I worked on my undergraduate in philosophy at a secular university, I encountered a lot of cynicism. A lot of people who wanted to use philosophy as a stick to beat ideas they didn't like, rather than as a pursuit of wisdom and truth and beauty. That's the attitude that characterizes true philosophy, the love of wisdom. And I think this book would be very helpful for the young Catholics today who can be pulled in so many different directions and who are bombarded with all these ideas about how meaningless life is, which is fortunately false. But I think it'll also be helpful for any Christians, for that matter, and for any Catholics who haven't studied philosophy or need to brush up a little bit on their philosophy. I should explain the title of the book, A Fool's Errand. I hope it doesn't turn anybody off. But the primary idea is that the very beginning of philosophy is to recognize that we are not wise, to realize that we don't know all the answers. Peter Kraft has said there are two kinds of people in the world, the fools who think that they're wise, and the wise who know that they're fools. To begin the pursuit of wisdom, we have to first recognize that we don't have wisdom. And so philosophy is the errand of someone who recognizes that he's a fool. And so that's where the title comes from, A Fool's Errand. So thanks for watching. If you read the book or listen to it on audiobook, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you learn something, and I look forward to your feedback. Please subscribe and share with your friends.